Hello, welcome back. This video is going to be a bit of a change from the last few. Prompt I'm following, by the way, is a starlit pond, but I'm actually going to keep it in the background for the most part today and just talk. It's going to be a little heavy, so I apologize, but hopefully something I say will be useful. When attempting anything, we usually come toward it with an expectation or a goal. For this video, I'll use my art as an example. For the longest time, I'd approach it as a hobby. Something to do on the side, something to do for fun. I would even tell myself that I wanted to try and improve, and this lasted for a few years. I'd always say I wanted to try and improve, and it frequently turned out that simply saying you want to improve is very different from actually doing it. Time and again, I would feel like I was making progress, and then time and again, that high would be met by another low. After maybe getting some little burst of inspiration, I would sit down for a few weeks, pump out a few drawings. The goal of each drawing to be to get better. After trying in this manner, I'd evaluate what I did and see if I improved. The important thing to note here, though, is that usually whenever this evaluation comes, it's driven more by emotion and less by actual objective truth. Whether or not I actually improved mostly just depended on how confident I felt when I was actually drawing and not the fact that I actually did sit down and do something that day. This is what I mean by the goal being a little bit too vague. For the longest time, I would approach drawing as a hobby, something to do on the side, something to do for fun. I even told myself I wanted to try and improve, and this is where I went wrong. To improve requires consistent effort. Every day I didn't try and get better felt like a failure. Every time I skipped would be me actively not doing the thing I said I would. My goal was so vague and my process was so bad. Every time I did sit down, all I could think about was how much better I could have been if I didn't have that stack of off days. And every day that I just didn't feel like it, I would end up feeling behind. Often when I hear people saying they're feeling behind, it's usually in reference to looking at other people's work. I think this contributes to the feeling. However, I think a portion of this that is often understated is that it's not just in reference to someone else, but to that other version of you who did put in that time and who didn't have that stack of off days. Your time is limited, and yet you feel like all you did was wasted. I don't mean to act like this existential dread is unique. It isn't, and honestly, that's a little comforting. You're not special for having those kinds of thoughts. So, how to fix it? Well, I'm far from any sort of expert, but at least from my point of view, if you're in an all similar mindset to me, it's because you placed such a distant goal and failed to consider how to achieve it properly. So ask yourself, how could you do that? And as an example, I'll use what I'm trying to do here. It's actually the whole point of this channel. Project. I'm not just drawing only for fun and only to get better, but also for the channel. I'm trying to use this as a small project and a small stepping stone to improving overall. Slightly smaller goal that isn't as far in the future, it's only once a week, and then when I'm ready, maybe even more. In the end, I made this video to air out some of my thoughts. It's getting pretty dusty in here. If you feel like you're not as good as you could be, or you didn't practice enough and maybe your goals were too big to achieve, then good. Maybe you need to stop thinking so far in the future and focus on what you have to do right now. Reward yourself not for the feeling of getting better, but for at least trying every day, every week, or however often you want to dedicate time to what you want. You aren't behind, and you aren't ahead. You're just you, and every piece of your life, including the failures, led up to this point. This is the only moment that matters. If you made it this far, then thanks for watching. I think this practice turned out alright. I'm trying to get better at thinking about the colors dictating the shapes more than line work, but we'll see how that goes when I continue practicing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.